It's the 23rd of July, 1999, and we are here for the Woodstock 99 Music Festival. Today is the day history is made, as DMX ends up having one of the iconic performances in hip-hop history. X performs in front of over 200,000 people.
Yeah.
Not many rappers can touch DMX when it comes to live performances. DMX is one of those very few rappers whom you can connect and feel his passion when he's doing a live performance or when he's playing through your speakers. DMX was a once-in-a-lifetime kind of artist. In an era where every rapper had to act and look tough and not show any weaknesses, X was that rapper who could be vulnerable and no one could test him or say he was soft. He was a gangster rapper who prayed on stage and had people crying in the audience while he performed. Till today, DMX is probably the only rapper that could get hundreds of thousands of metalheads raving, jumping and singing along. Jay-Z stated that watching X on stage forced him to be a better performer.
All passion. My fondest memory of DMX is so X is about to go on, and I'm like, I want to see. I got like
X is before you.
X is going before me. The lights are up. He's in the hallway. It goes doom doom.
Yeah, I just got the shit.
And now the arena's shaking, and I'm like, this is cool. And then it goes doom doom, and then he goes, and the fucking arena goes crazy. First of all, it's deafening, and I'm like, oh shit. He's running back and forth. He has a thing like a Alizé and Hennessy mix. It looks like blood. It's like he's drinking blood, right? And he's running back and forth. 1, 2, 1, 2, here we go. And going halfway through the show, then he takes his shirt off.
Now
all the
he
girls
go
are
crazy
screaming,
again.
And the dog chain.
Yeah, the dog chain is tripping and he's going nuts, right? And I'm like, this is halfway through. Now first the guys are going crazy. Now the girls are going crazy. And then he gets to the end and he starts a prayer.
Oh my God.
And now they're crying.
Yeah.
The whole arena is crying. Yeah. They're crying tears. And I'm like, they're like, hey, now you go. And I had Hard Knock Life on, so it was like, it's a hard knock life. Put your hands up, people. Everybody finished the show that night. Everybody's happy, by the way. And I was like...
But before DMX became a superstar, he was just Earl Simmons, the only boy in a family of 4. X was born in Mount Vernon, New York. He was raised in the school streets projects, right in the heart of Yonkers. DMX's mother, Arnett Simmons, was only 19 years old when she gave birth to him while his father, Joe Barker, was 18 years old. Unfortunately, Joe Barker did not want to be part of his son's life. Instead, he painted watercolor paintings of street scenes to sell at local fairs, and little Earl's dad only came around when he had some paintings to sell in the Big Apple.
And I love my father. Even though he wasn't there, I don't really know him, but I know enough to know that I'm glad he didn't raise me.
Is that disappointing?
Nope. Now? No.
Then, not now?
Then, when I first went, I was mad. I had to... What was your... And in a calm voice, he explained to me. I was homeless. Imagine harboring 22 years of anger. Realizing it was all for nothing. I love him, though. I love him.
This was one of the reasons why X had a rough and very difficult childhood. Unlike most other rappers, DMX's story isn't that of another rapper who had an absent father and then took to the streets and was raised by a single loving mother. DMX's mother just never loved him. Instead, DMX was abused regularly by his mother, and that she just didn't know what to do with them. X stated that she once beat 2 teeth out of his mouth with a broom. Unfortunately, DMX never had a Donda in his life, and although he was raised as a Jehovah's Witness and attended a lot of church services, there wasn't much love in his life during this period. Still, X was a fast learner and a bright student. However, when he wanted to share anything he learned with his mother, she never listened to him at all. Instead, his mom simply told him to go to his room and got busy or physical with her numerous boyfriends instead. DMX was only 6 years old at this time, and some of these boyfriends also used him as well. And when X got hit by a drunk driver who ran a red light, his mother rejected the 10 grand that the insurance company was willing to pay. X's mom told the insurance company that they didn't need the money because they were Jehovah's Witnesses. Not getting any love or attention at home, he took to the streets. X jumped off the porch at a very early age. He began skipping schools and stealing from various local supermarkets. DMX also enjoyed walking the streets at night, as this was one of the few times he got some peace and quiet. X's house wasn't a home. Whenever he's at his mother's apartment, her favorite tools to use on her son were sticks, hangers, extension cords, and brooms. DMX's home had become a prison. X stated that there was a summer he offended his mom, so she kept him locked up in his room all summer. He was only allowed to step out when he had to use the restroom. The only place DMX could call a home was the house of his paternal grandmother. His dad's mother was one of the few people who loved him, and her home was the only place he was shown love. X's grandmother was his anchor, but his own mother never showed or told him that she loved him.
You never got to have that mommy experience.
No. And she never, not once, she ever told me that she loved me. I mean, I don't sound like a sucker.
You don't sound like a sucker.
It is what it is. It is what it is. I mean, a lot of people.
I mean, a lot of people don't get that. So, I mean, what's the big deal? So what? She didn't say she loved me. So what? I'm here. I'm healthy. You know what I mean?
But
I got kids. I got a good career.
DMX carried this pain with him for the rest of his life. Not being loved at home made the young DMX act out in different ways. He began throwing chairs at classmates, insulting teachers, and he became very aggressive. This was why he was expelled from school at the age of 10. And even as a kid, the young Earl Simmons wasn't far from the courtroom. X was ordered by a judge to spend 18 months at the Julia Dickman Andrus Memorial Children's Home, a rehabilitative custody for troubled kids. He became one of the brightest students at this facility, made some new friends, but he also got into some fights. DMX was eventually kicked out of the school. He and his roommate accidentally started a fire while playing around and burnt down one of the buildings of the school. X had now been arrested twice for assault and for arson. So DMX was back home, well, if you could call it a home. He was back to living with his mother, and the abuse resumed again. However, X was older, and he could defend himself against his mother. But unfortunately, this didn't stop abuse. Instead, his mother switched to beating her son while he was asleep. The abuse just didn't stop. DMX also suffered from severe asthma, which he inherited from his father. There were several instances where his mother had to rush him to the hospital after she had beaten him so hard he started to choke and suffer from an asthma attack. X reportedly started contemplating killing his mother, but the love he had for her was stronger than any hate or resentment he harbored towards her. After a while, DMX found some comfort in dogs. The love he never got at home, he found in stray dogs who would also remain very loyal to him as he struggled to survive in the streets. This began a lifelong relationship that would also influence his career. X started coming home with stray dogs, but his mother didn't want them in her apartment. However, this didn't make X desert his friends. Instead, he would hide them on the roof and didn't mind spending the night right there with them. During this period, X's mom was exploring different ways to get him out of her home, so she took him to the Children's Village shelter. X thought he was only taking a tour of the place. What he didn't know was that his mother was leaving him there for months.
So the procedure is you go there for an interview and it takes you home. Then, you prepare to come back.
He was under the impression that he was just looking around. He wasn't going to stay.
My mother comes back. I'm like across the room. It's like, all right, I'll see you in 3 months. And I'm like...
And she left.
In my mind, I'm like, you can't leave me. You know what I mean? Like... Like, we came here. I'm supposed to go home. And then she just left. Right then and there, I learned to just put away, conceal, bury, whatever bothered.
X ended up being at the shelter for more than 3 months. His mom didn't come to take him home for the holidays, and DMX was the only kid stuck at the shelter, as his mother just never showed up. But it was also during this period that DMX got introduced to hip-hop. He began writing music. Hip-hop became a means through which he expressed himself, and it also became his escape.
This is Crowley's cottage. This is where Earl lived for 2 years. Music was the lifesaver for Earl. He just was so passionate that would help him to express himself.
When DMX was eventually allowed to go back home, he didn't want to. X was a different man now. Instead, he settled for the streets, as he found it more comfortable. Rather than go home, he preferred to spend his nights at Salvation Army clothing bins, and he was never alone. Lying right next to him was Blackie.
Yeah, I kept a dog with me. Kept a dog with me, man. I love dogs. I like dogs more than people.
You love dogs more than people?
More than people.
Can you break that down for us?
A dog doesn't know how to lie to you. A dog doesn't know how to be fake. It is.
Blackie was a pit bull that DMX had adopted as his dog. Blackie and X became one hell of a team. The duo had to find a way to survive in the cold streets of Yonkers. The best friends had to eat, but they had no money, so they turned to robbery. And as it turns out, they were pretty good at it. Their first robbery happened outside a supermarket in Yonkers, Getty Square. X simply snatched her purse off her shoulders and took to his heels. He got $1,000 for this, and the spoils were shared between him and his partner. He got a leather collar and harness for Blackie, and bought Timberland boots for himself. Blackie and DMX were the team you didn't want to meet in the dark alleys or corner. They were so good at their job, and soon enough, everyone knew about the Gang of Two, a teenager and his pit bull. After some time, they were wanted by the cops, and they were warrants not just for DMX alone. Blackie was probably the most wanted dog in all of America. Blackie and X couldn't evade Uncle Sam forever. In 1986, Blackie was shot dead by the cops. X was arrested and he spent 2 years in juvie. DMX stated he was determined to escape, and he did. However, his mom told him to turn himself in so that he won't be a wanted man his whole life. After doing his time, DMX had a new target for his robberies. He began carjacking. But robbery wasn't the only thing X was involved with in the streets. He also got caught up in drugs. He revealed that he was introduced to drugs at the age of 14 by a local rapper known as Reddy Ron, a man he looked up to as a mentor. X stated that Reddy Ron gave him a blunt laced with crack. The same man who introduced him to hip-hop, who also introduced him to the substance that became the most destructive part of his life. The drug addiction remained the one constant that X could not defeat throughout his life. DMX was eventually arrested again, and this time he was sent to Suffolk Correctional Facility. However, it was also after this time at the Suffolk facility that DMX was born. He decided to take rap seriously, and the first talent DMX realized he had was beatboxing. He named himself after one of the best and most popular drum machines of the time, the DMX. He also translated the name to Darkman X. His journey as a rapper began behind the walls of Suffolk facility. He wrote his first rhymes and started battling other rhymers while he was in jail. After he was released, DMX's journey as a battle rapper continued on the streets of Yonkers.
I did a lot of, walking through Yonkers, looking for people to rob, and if I came across a rap battle, hey, just as good.
Soon enough, he became the guy you have to battle to be known as the best rapper in the city. Hip-hop saved DMX's life. If you ask X how much he loves music, he can never even put it into words. DMX stated that he would have been stuck on the streets if he didn't succeed as a rapper.
More than I know how to explain. More than I know how to put in words. I can put a lot of things in words. I've yet to fully understand how much I love music. Part of the reason why I created it is because I enjoy listening to it so much. And I wasn't getting the proper nutrition. I'm not getting fed properly.
So let me feed myself.
Yeah.
DMX's hustle eventually paid off, and he was discovered by Tiny and Joaquin Dean, aka Wah, on Locust Hill Avenue. Wah got X into various shows to perform, to freestyle battles, and also paid for his studio time.
We right here in the lab and shit. DMX about to bust, you know what I'm saying?
My rhymes are kicking, cooking like chicken, finger licking good. I'm gonna hood your fear, stricken out the DM, destroy MC soon as I see him.
Unlike some rappers who lie in their songs, every story you hear in X's music actually happened, because X did live that life, and this is why a lot of people connected and loved his music. DMX's lyrics tell stories about his adventures in the streets, and the music is fueled by anger, raw passion, and emotional honesty that only very few rappers are capable of. He signed a management deal with Wah's label, Rough Riders Entertainment, under Columbia Records in 1991.
Tell us about Rough Riders. What does Rough Riders mean? Come on, man.
Rough Riders, double R. You know what I mean? We ride rough, you know what I'm saying? We ain't just no rap label or group of that put together some MCs and you know what I'm saying? We real from the streets doing real things. Around and you won't get found, trust me. You know what I mean? It's straight like that. We're a group of brothers that no longer want to be or do the things that we had to do to get money, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, the talent, let's do this. And we did it, you know what I'm saying? But we are street.
Oh, no doubt. And you represent the dude from the street.
Yeah.
You're straight up street cat.
I am the hood. I am the streets.
DMX released his first single, called Born Loser, in 1993. However, Born Loser was a failure, and he was eventually dropped from the label.
Born loser, not because I choose to be, but because all the bad shit happens to me. I got kids, but their mothers don't want them to know me. My sisters used to like me, but now they call me homie. I used to have a family now.
Because of his gritty, hardcore style and his business in the streets, most record labels did not want to work with X. During this period, record companies wanted the feel-good, flashy-style commercial music that was made popular by Bad Boy Records and Puff Daddy. Diddy actually turned down the chance to sign X because of the same reason. DMX and Wah were then introduced to Irv Gotti. Irv Gotti produced X's second single, called Make a Move.
Yeah. Wild moves a hustler got to make to get that cake. And if you fake or you a snake, I got to make a move and make it soon. Getting bagged by Jake, I got to take a block and make it boom. That's how that's going down. I got to make a move and make it soon. Let me holler at you, take a block and make it boom. It's 2 o'clock and I'm just about to hit the streets. Until I knock off this rock, I don't get to eat. Sometimes it's like that's the only.
And even during this period, DMX was still in the streets. He was robbing people and rapping about it in his songs. His career eventually took off after Irv Gotti became the A&R of Def Jam Records. X signed to Def Jam in 1997, and it didn't take him long after this to take over the rap game. He released the lead single of his debut album, Get At Me Dog, in February 1998.
Let's take it back to the streets, mother.
Yeah, I'm right here, dog. Where my dogs at? We right here, dog. Where my dogs at? I'm right here, dog. What must I go through to show you shit is real? And I ain't really never gave a fuck.
Then on the 5th of May, 1998, X dropped a single that changed his life forever, the Rough Riders anthem.
Something new. Stop, drop, shut them down, open up shop. Oh, no, that's how Rough Riders.
DMX's debut album, It's Dark and Hell is Hot, was released on the 19th of May, 1998. The album debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200 and sold 251,000 copies in its first week. It's Dark and Hell is Hot has since gone 4 times platinum in the US. His second album, Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood, sold 670,000 copies in its first week. DMX became the first hip-hop artist to have 2 #1 albums in 1 year. In fact, he did it within a 7-month period. X was the face of hip-hop at the time and rap's first superstar since the death of Biggie and Tupac. All of DMX's first 5 albums debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200. But despite the success and fame, DMX stayed the same. He never lost the fire and aggression. He remained true to himself. He was never scared of no one, and he spoke out when he had issues with the industry.
Now, you got issues with the industry. What's going down with the industry, dog?
The industry is full of a bunch of dick-sucking, dick-riding, bending over the desk ass niggas, straight up like that. Whoever don't like it, bring it, nigga. Bring it. I don't give a fuck. Bring it.
He was still the same man, and he still moved around with his dogs.
He battling on the corner now, mind you, battling all the niggas around there, right?
Hold on, he battled then?
He battled then, on the block, on 121st, right? 7th Avenue.
I don't even understand how classic that is, but get
right? He battled him, and he do some shit like, halls to the right you. That's all I remember. The falls to the like you. Some falls to the like you. Be careful. Careful my dog. She might bite you. And then the dog, he go, and then the dog go, it's like, shit. No, look. Then the dog, he said the dog, she might bite you. Something with him. And then the dog drowned, he's like, chill, ma, let me get him.
Unfortunately, DMX could never outrun his demons.
DMX was really a hard artist to deal with. He had robberies, he had situations, people,
He struggled with addiction, and this remained a continuous battle throughout his entire life. X also had unending run-ins with the law. He was arrested over 30 times throughout his life. He was arrested for criminal possession of a weapon, robbery, assaults, carjacking, animal cruelty, reckless driving, driving under the influence, unlicensed driving, drug possession, probation violation, failure to pay child support, pretending to be a federal agent, and tax evasion. Throughout his life, and despite his drug problems, X never lost his humanity. He gave away money and most of the things he owned. This is why you will never see a picture of DMX wearing gold chains or wearing flashy clothes or driving luxury vehicles. X never lost his faith either. He's probably the only hip-hop artist you will find praying on stage. He tried to quit drugs and went into rehab several times, but sadly, he never beat his addiction problems. In February 2016, he was found unconscious at a parking lot in his city. Fortunately, he was given Narcan, became semi-conscious, and rushed to the hospital immediately. An eyewitness stated that DMX took a powdered substance before collapsing, but X claimed it was an asthma attack. DMX made a full recovery from this incident, but 5 years later, he lost the battle. On the 2nd of April 2021, at around 11 p.m., DMX was rushed to the White Plains Hospital after suffering a heart attack due to a drug overdose. X was in critical condition and was placed on life support. 7 days later, it was confirmed that X's brain, lungs, kidney, and liver were no longer functioning. DMX passed away on the 9th of April 2021. He died at the age of 50. X's drug problems were caused by the trauma from the abuse he suffered as a child. He lost his battle to addiction, but his music will live forever, and he will always be remembered as a legend. Rest in peace, DMX.